Everybody, welcome back to Buying Time. Harry McCullough here. It's hot, very sunny out, and it's that time of year where you really have to wear a hat or big brim and then watch your skin or have healthy skin. So the Big Brims and Healthy Skin event happens July 10th at Ellendale Country Club. Here to talk about it is Lane Bordelon, Developmental Coordinator of Tier 1 General, Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center, Tiffany Adams, of course, the event chair and melanoma survivor, and Dr. Alexis Duke, who's a dermatologist and a part of this program as well. So, guys, thank y'all so much for being here. Lane, let's start with you. Tell me where, why. Tell me about this event.
Okay, so it's going to be on July 10th, as you said, at Ellendale Country Club. It is a luncheon focused on melanoma awareness. It all kind of grew out of some conversations I had with Tiffany probably almost 3 years ago, and then you know what's happened over the last few years.
Right.
We really couldn't get anything to come to fruition until now. But really, we just want people to know about the importance of taking care of your skin, especially where we live, and let people know that it's easy. You can still go out and have fun in the outdoors while being safe and taking care of yourself. The event is going to raise funds for cancer prevention and early detection, meaning more free screenings here in the Bayou region.
Yeah, I love the hat too.
Yeah, we thought we would, encourage everybody to grab a hat and come out to the luncheon.
Absolutely. So, Tiffany, where did the idea for the event come from?
So the idea came about when early May of 2019, I was diagnosed with not only one melanoma, but two. I had gone in for a spot that my husband had found on my ankle, and Dr. Alexis Duke noticed that I had not been in quite some time for a body check, and so I said, well, let's do this. And at that time, there was several spots that were suspect. So I had numerous biopsies actually, and over the course of actually a month, two of them came back as melanoma. And so that got me thinking that I had previously worked for the Terrebonne General Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. And, we hear about breast cancer awareness, and my mother is a breast cancer survivor, and we hear about other awareness of other types of cancers, but we don't really hear that much about melanoma or skin cancers. And so we live in an area that we are out in the sun a lot, whether it be our fishing industry, just our husbands or boyfriends, whatever, fishing, or our children at sporting events. And so I thought, we need to do something about this. We need to promote more awareness and education about skin cancers. Prevention is very important, and then screenings. And so that's, in my talks with Lane, that's how this began.
Yeah, and look, so important. And so, Doc, I'll bring you in. I laugh about the Jerry Seinfeld episode. I'm sure you've seen it. She was a lifesaver, but she was a dermatologist. Anyway, you'll have to look it up. But he thought, oh, she only deals with acne. She's a dermatologist. But you deal with so much more in melanoma. So how important is that for everybody as we get older, right? Don't have as much protection, that we do annual checkups and lookups like that?
So skin cancer screening is extremely important. I want people to think about it like you would prevention for any other cancer that you have. Skin cancer is actually very, very common. Basal cell carcinoma is the #1 cancer in the world. Melanoma is the 5th leading cause of cancer. Every day, 20 people will die from melanoma in the United States. This year alone, in 2020, approximately 100,000 people will be diagnosed with melanoma. Of that 100,000, about 7,500 will pass away from the disease. So it's extremely important that people take proactive measures for their skin, and they get their skin checked at least once a year by a dermatologist.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. So once a year, we all should wear sunscreen and nice brims and all that kind of stuff. But
Correct.
Once a year for those screenings as well. Sunscreen should be part of everybody's, your regular habit of doing things.
Absolutely. You should wear sunscreen every day. You want a broad spectrum sunscreen, so that means that it's protecting you from both UVB rays, which are the rays of the sun that cause sunburn, and from UVA, which are the rays that penetrate more deeply into the skin and can lead to the DNA damage that causes cancer. You want to have a sun protection factor of at least 30, which means that your sunscreen is blocking out about 97% of the sun's UVB rays, and you want it to be water resistant. So whenever you're outside and it's hot and you're sweating, your sunscreen gives you better protection.
Now, with COVID, that we've been through a crazy time, but vitamin D seemed to be a real popular thing. And a lot of people go, how do you get vitamin D? You go outside and you get sunshine. Is that made any difference? Are you seeing any difference from people trying to get vitamin D that may be coming to see you now?
So you can wear sunscreen and you can still have okay vitamin D levels. You can absolutely supplement vitamin D if you need to in pill form. I don't want vitamin D and people being afraid that their vitamin D levels will be too low to keep them from protecting their skin.
Right. Okay. We about a minute left. Lane, talk to me about where, when, and what's going to happen on July 10th.
So Ellendale Country Club at 12 noon, we are going to open with a champagne reception for everyone to mingle, have a good time. Then we're going to have a great presentation from Dr. Duke, kind of explaining in much greater detail what we've been talking about today. We're going to have a hat contest. So we encourage everyone to decorate their big hats at home and come wearing their best hat. We're going to give a prize for the best. And we are also going to play bingo with some great prizes. And it should be a really great time.
Well, how many people are you expecting? How many times have we done this?
This is the first time we're doing this event.
Oh, okay. So what do you expect?
We can fit at maximum 175 people, and we are about halfway there. So I encourage people to get tickets soon.
Oh, that's great. And how do they get tickets?
They can go to our Facebook page. It's Big Brims and Healthy Skin. Or they can text the word Brims to 41444.
Tell us a little bit more about the event, what we can expect there, and some of these contests.
Well, so as Lane mentioned earlier, it's going to, our guests will come to a champagne reception as they mingle and talk with everyone, and hopefully look at everyone's wonderfully decorated hats, because we are going to have a hat contest, because we're promoting the covering of your entire face, which is the best way to protect yourself, covering your face and your neck, your chest as well. And then we'll have a wonderful luncheon. And then what I'm most excited about is our educational presentation by Dr. Alexis Duke, who is our presenting sponsor. And then we'll have bingo also, a little fun mixed in there.
That'll be awesome. Now, we're looking at the Big Brims poster. Folks, if you can go with your TV, with your phone right now, and you can use that scan code right now, it'll take you right to the website. So you can stop it right here, go use it on the phone. But that's all available for you right now, is using that scan code as well. Tiffany, you also said you're a melanoma survivor, and I'm going to go down to Dr. Duke with this as well. It doesn't mean you can't go outside anymore, right? So
No.
tell me a little bit about surviving and living with this disease.
Absolutely. Yeah, when I got the initial diagnosis, it's a shock. I mean, anytime anyone has the diagnosis of cancer, it's a wake-up call for sure. And so my family we are in the sun a lot, whether it be fishing, sports, or just generally just out in the sun. We grew up that way. We live in sportsman's paradise.
Right.
But you just have to be smart, and you have to kind of be able to adjust your ways. We have to wear bigger hats, long sleeve fishing shirts and swim shirts, and make sure that you are reapplying your sunscreen after a certain amount of time and wearing the right kind of sunscreen. And just being smart and healthy about it. And early detection is the key. I was very blessed that mine was detected early,
Right.
and that mine were able to be moved surgically.
Right. And obviously, looking at your fair skin, your children are probably
Yes.
as well too. So let's go to Dr. Duke. When I grew up, we stayed out in the sun until we got darker, right? That's how you just get that first sunburn out of the way, you peel, and then you get darker as the sun goes. So that's not obviously the way we should do things, right?
No, no, please don't do that. No, so, there are ways that we can prevent skin cancer. And first and foremost, you do want to photo protect your skin. So how do we do that? The first thing that you should do, sunscreen, sunscreen, sunscreen. You want it to have an SPF of 30 or higher. You want it to block both UVA and UVB rays, so broad spectrum sunscreen. And you want it to be water resistant if possible. Photoprotective clothing. So we're talking long sleeves when outdoors, wide brim hats, sunglasses. You want to avoid the sun during its harshest UV rays. So typically that's between 10 o'clock in the morning and 4 o'clock in the afternoon. If you can avoid sunlight during that time, seek shade if you can. You definitely want to avoid tanning beds. They are terrible for your skin cancer risk, and also for photo aging. every month, I always tell my patients to do a self skin check. So what does that mean? It means that you take a mirror and you check your entire body, and you're looking for either new lesions or lesions that are changing. So is a spot becoming bigger? Is it changing color? Is it elevating from the skin? Is it becoming symptomatic? So does it itch? Is it tender? Does it bleed? Has it formed a scab and you're not sure why? All of these things can be potential red flags for skin cancer, and they should be addressed by a dermatologist.
Right. When we all started doing hand sanitizer and kids, we're like, oh, everybody's getting soft, right? Because nobody's getting any germs anymore. I've also heard the same thing about sunscreen. Like, oh, there's more chemicals in that sunscreen, then that might hurt you more than the sun will. You want to address that? Obviously, that's just some internet myth, I'm sure.
Well, what I can do, I can kind of talk about it. So there's different types of sunscreen. You have some sunscreen that's a chemical blocker. And what that means is it's chemicals that's in the sunscreen that actually absorbs the solar energy. Then you have some that are physical blockers, and it deflects the sun's solar energy. The controversy has come up with chemical blockers. You can avoid it completely by using a physical blocker sunscreen. So if you are not comfortable with a chemical blocker, you can use titanium dioxide or zinc oxide in your sunscreen, and you don't have that risk of absorption that people are so concerned about. Right. There's been with oxybenzone, there's concerns that it can be an endocrine mimicker, and I do understand that. Some sunscreens have been banned in certain parts of the world because they're worried about coral reefs, but you can get around all of that by using a physical blocking sunscreen. So using one that has, again, titanium dioxide or zinc oxide in it. Blue Lizard mineral sunscreen for sensitive skin is one of my favorites. It meets all of the checkpoints. You can find it at Walmart. You can find it on Amazon. And so there's really no excuse. And if you can't tolerate that for whatever reason, you can always use photoprotective clothing. So remember that that's part of our backup plan.
Yeah, that was just because I was heavy. I wore a t-shirt. But anyway. Elaine, so sponsoring this event, you guys got a lot of support for it.
Yes, we're so thankful. We have had a lot of support for this first time doing this. As Tiffany mentioned earlier, Dr. Duke is our presenting sponsor. So not only is she giving a presentation and educating us, she's also sponsoring the event. We also have the Terrebonne General Volunteer Auxiliary as a sponsor. We have Rao Plastic Surgery and Dr. Ben and Tiffany Adams.
Yeah, so can we get that scan code back up one more time, Jen? And yeah, you can go right to the website. You can scan on this code on the bottom right now, take an event, but it'll be July 10th, and it'll be at Ellendale Country Club. It's the Big Brims and Healthy Skin. So guys, so much. I'd really like to go hear Dr. Duke talk. So Lainey, Tiffany, thank you guys so much for being with us.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We'll be right back for more Bite Time right after this.